You are ready to make some really great royal icing. I love this recipe. It is the recipe I use every time I make royal icing. We're going to go over the ingredients. This is all going to be in real time, so it's going to be a lot of mixing time, probably more than you might think it will be. I'm kind of anxious to see how long this process actually ends up taking. So we're just going to do everything in real time. And if you have any questions or anything, just leave them down below. I will get back to you. Okay, so let's talk about some of the ingredients. Sorry. You just put that somewhere. Most important ingredient is going to be meringue powder. I will swear by this meringue powder, the Genie's Dream meringue powder. This bag's almost empty. I can't even tell you how many bags I've gone through. It is amazing. And I've seen people say that they don't see a difference when they use this, but I use Wilton's from Walmart for a long time. And switching to this, I noticed a huge difference. It pipes so much more nicely. It's like just silky, smooth. Oh, so good. I will always pay the extra to get this. It is a little bit on the pricey side, but a bag of this will last you quite some time. Okay, next up, is some corn syrup. And this is just the Great Value brand. I use whatever brand is available. It seems like Walmart has either had this in stock or the Karo syrup one. I don't know what the deal is with that. But I've used this. I've used even the Best Choice. I think it was Best Choice brand from our local grocery store. Or the Karo syrup brand, any of them. But as long as it's the light colored corn syrup, that's what you want. All right. Next is this AmeriColor White. It's the bright white food color gel. And I go ahead and get the big bottle because I put this in every batch of royal icing and every batch of like my rolled buttercream. It just brightens it up, and I feel like my royal icing, I do not have trouble with it bleeding or the color, like I feel like I should be looking at you talking. I don't have any trouble with the color bleeding or with, I forget, I think like color bleed, no. I don't know, where they put too much color in it, oversaturated colors. I don't have any trouble with that. And I really think it's because of like good products I use in making it. I think having a good base for your royal icing is the key to not having all those problems. Okay, and then vanilla. Guys, this vanilla is so good. And look how big it is. What is this? 33 ounces? And you get 2 of these bottles at a time when you buy them off Amazon. It smells so freaking good. Oh my gosh, it smells so good. If you guys haven't used this, you should try it. It is wonderful. I put it in all of my baked goods, whether it needs vanilla or not. And I usually put extra because vanilla should be measured by the heart, I think, not by a spoon. Okay, and then powdered sugar. I like using the Great Value brand. I've used the Cane's brand, or the C&H. I think it's C&H brand. That's the other brand Walmart has here where I live. And it is more expensive than this. And I didn't notice any difference. If anything, it had a slightly different taste, which I wasn't particularly fond of. So I just use a Great Value. Another thing I will say is, which this might be seem kind of strange, but I will say paper towels. I go through a crap ton of paper towels because I don't want my regular dish towels and cloths are washed with my laundry, with laundry soap, of course. And I feel like they take on like a smell from my laundry soap, and I don't want my royal icing to smell like that or taste like that. Shoot, I meant to. Okay. I don't want my royal icing to smell or taste like that. So I use a lot of paper towels for like when I wash my hands, drying my hands off, drying the inside of my bowl, covering up my royal icing. I'll dampen a paper towel and then put it over a bowl of royal icing. Don't use dishcloths because you don't want to go through all of this and make this icing and then it tastes funny. Okay, so to start off, let's talk about our mixer attachments. You can definitely mix this by hand, but good luck. And it's going to take a long time. So I hope you've been lifting weights or something. So I always start out making royal icing with the whisk attachment, because you want, when you put in the meringue powder and some warm water, you want it to get frothy and like really get the air whipped in there good. You got to do it right from the beginning. So, and then once you're ready to add your powdered sugar, then I switch to a paddle attachment. And that is because, for one, the royal icing gets so thick that it would get caught up in the beater really easily. And a paddle attachment just works better. Then when you are done mixing, you can mix your royal icing on low speed for a while with the paddle attachment to try and get a little bit of the air out. So let's get started. I have my recipe book out. I always pull it out. You would think I would have this recipe memorized by now, but I don't. So let's see. 4 tablespoons of meringue powder, 2 teaspoons of vanilla, 10 to 12 tablespoons of water. So use warm water. And I told you this is going to be in real time, so let me go ahead and just do this like that. All right, get my warm water out. Okay, so it's just slightly warm. Actually, it's probably not quite warm enough. Let me get a little more. I feel like my hot water gets like hot so fast. Okay, that's better. So we are gonna do a half a cup. Just go off of the recipe that was included in your thing, because I may have changed the measurements a little bit, but mine says 10 to 12 tablespoons, but who really wants to measure out that many tablespoons? And then it's 4 tablespoons of meringue powder, which is also 1/4 of a cup. So I'll just use my 1/4 of a cup deal. Get to the bottom of the bag. It's a little messy. Gotta get all that goodness out. All right. All right. And then, I know my recipe on here says 2 teaspoons of vanilla, but it's more like, first of all, my recipe, the written out one's kind of weird. So actually it's 4 teaspoons of vanilla altogether. So I'm going to likely do like 2 tablespoons. I might just add a little more before it's done with, because that's how I like it. All right, and we're gonna put our, well, boom. Did you hear that? Okay. Let's just drop everything. All right, so put the whisk on, put this down. We'll start it on slow just so it doesn't splatter all over the bowl. But we're gonna speed it up pretty quickly here. Know what you're thinking? You're probably thinking, well, that didn't take long. Well, guess what? You're just getting started. All right, so see how it like kind of sticks to the sides of the bowl, that powder? It's kind of a odd substance. Kind of reminds you maybe like a cornstarch or something. Oh, it's just kind of weird with liquid. You can see it's already getting frothy. But we just want to make sure we get all of that meringue powder scraped up off of the sides. You like my little sprinkle spatula? I got it at Hobby Lobby. Probably, I don't know, a couple years ago, so I don't know if they still have that or not. But I do like it. Alright, let's see how that's looking. It is doing pretty good. So scrape down the sides again. It's definitely getting frothy. I mean, gosh, I wish I could show you that a little bit better. Does that help any? Okay. You see that? That's what it looks like. It definitely will not hold a peak or anything. I wouldn't even say it's at a soft peak yet. Okay. So we're gonna mix this up some more. All right, let's see. You can kind of tell like when your mixer is going and the whisk starts to leave some ripples in it as it's mixing. It's getting pretty dang close. So yeah. Oop, there you are. That looks actually pretty good. Okay. All right, what are we gonna add next? Oh, our corn syrup. Actually, let's do our food coloring. Let's open. I don't know what your recipe says. A teaspoon or something. I just put some in there, squirt it in there. That's how I roll. Okay. Check on that. After everything, I always scrape the bowl after I add each thing, just because you want to make sure it's all mixed together. And by the time it's said and done, there's going to be a lot in here. It's going to be kind of hard to scrape down to the bottom. I don't know if you can tell it, that really did brighten it up a lot. And that's what we're dealing with right there. All right. So now we're gonna add in the corn syrup. Have it here, 1/2 cup. And it is heavy, and so it will try and weigh down this meringue that we just whipped up. So I whip this on high for quite a little while. Make sure it's really whipped up in there good. Oh, that's splattered everywhere. All right, I took the phone off the stand just because I want to give you kind of a close-up of how this looks. It should feel like so much smoother in your bowl than it did before you added the corn syrup. So just to make sure it's all up off the bottom, and it actually does feel pretty good. And you can see we got some pretty stiff peaks. There we go. I really like to use this curved kind of shaped spoon just because I feel like it scrapes down the edges better when you point the curve towards the edge like that. Kind of hard to do with one hand. I mean, if you don't have royal icing splattered everywhere in your kitchen, then did you ever really make it? Let's be honest. All right, so I got you back up in the stand. We just mixed that up here. That looks really nice. Like, yeah, that isn't gonna fall out if, well, maybe. I wouldn't hold it over anybody's head. Okay. Next. All right, so we're gonna add in this powdered sugar, and I just add about a bag, and then we'll kind of mix it together, and then we'll add a little bit of water as we go. So add 1 bag, and if your mixer is smaller than this, which this is a pretty big size mixer, I think it's 9.5 quart. If your mixer is smaller than this, I would half this recipe. Even, yeah, probably half it. All right, I just cover this up so I don't get powdered with the powdered sugar. Now, if you start hearing your mixer kind of working hard, I always keep just some water here handy that I can just dip into and pour a little bit in as I need it. Because you don't want to burn up your motor in your mixer. I know that will happen, and it's from experience. All right, turn that up. Guys, that's the problem. I didn't change the beater out. Why didn't you tell me? Oh, sorry. That was a test to see if you noticed. Did you notice? Should change the beater out. Alright. Anyways, while we have that open, I'm just gonna scrape that powdered sugar down the side. I knew it didn't seem right when it started mixing. It just seemed odd or something. Okay, so before you added the powdered sugar, you should put your paddle attachment on. Alright, check on that. And it is already looking super silky. We still have our other bag of powdered sugar to put in. All right. So I'm going to start this and then put in some powdered sugar through the little pour spout here, and then I'll probably alternate between the powdered sugar and adding some more water. Okay, and hear the mixer kind of working hard, so I'm gonna help it and give it a little bit of water here. Do a little bit more just to get it ready for the rest of that powdered sugar. Alright, it's looking really thick. And at this point, you can taste it and see if you want to add more vanilla to it. I think I will add a little bit more vanilla. And then I'm just going to mix this on high for a while. Alright, that looks pretty good. I probably do my icing a little bit thinner than most people just because I mainly use it for like outlining and flooding. sometimes like some transfers, but if you were gonna do like fine piping detail, this is the consistency you would want. You would want it to be pretty thick like that, to where it's almost holding a solid peak. I like that. So I'm going to go ahead and add a little more water in it and mix it up some more. And I would suggest adding just like a tablespoon or so at a time until you know for sure how much you need. Okay, that looks good. All right. That looks so good. So let's mix some up get our consistencies here. One little trick you can do is if you have one of these scoopers, this is about a half a cup. So got 2 of those in there. And actually, I'm gonna go ahead. I'll go ahead and color this because I do have some cookies I need to frost. That should be enough. Okay. That was 3. So I'm gonna do, for like a good kind of all around consistency, we recommend 1 of these scoops to about a teaspoon of water. So let's just do 2 teaspoons of water. Oh, you cannot see, huh? So I just did 2 teaspoons of water in there, and then we have 3 scoops of that. And I like using these little spatulas to stir up my icing because stirring with a spoon will incorporate more air bubbles into your icing that you end up having to pop when you frost your cookies. So I like using these just flat little spatulas. They're nice and small, so they get in these little bowls really well. Okay, so I'm glad that we just started with the 2 teaspoons because it's just going to depend on the humidity in your area when you mix this up. But as you can see, this is not really thick. It's not going to hold its shape. And if I put it on a spoon and kind of tap it, or on the spatula and kind of tap it, it will smooth out. But it's not like runny either. So I can put it on the back of a spoon, tap, and it smooths out. And it's not super runny. I think this is a good all-around consistency. You can use this for outlining and flooding. Let's do one for like, if you're gonna do like writing on a cookie or something. Let's just do 1 scoop. And actually, I'm only gonna do like 1/4 of a teaspoon of water. Okay, so let's see how that ends up looking. You're gonna want to color your icing before you add water. I'm just gonna leave these white, but so, okay. So let's pull it up. If it curls like that, like the top of a Dairy Queen cone, that is perfect for writing on your cookies. You see it? It looks like the top of a Dairy Queen cone. If you pull it up and that's how it looks in your bowl, is like the top of a Dairy Queen cone, ice cream cone. This is the consistency icing I use for writing on cookies. Now, if you're wanting to pipe flowers on cookies or do any kind of like piping or whatever, you're gonna want it to be pretty thick. Actually, you're gonna want it even thicker than this. You're gonna want it about the consistency we had it at earlier in the bowl before we added that last bit of water. So this that I have in the bowl that I told you was a good kind of all-around consistency. See how it has flattened out? And if you let your icing sit here for a little bit, you'll start to see air bubbles in it. And you can just pop those. You can just take your spatula and just run it over the top and pop them. There we go. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and bag this icing. I'm gonna go ahead and do this thicker one that I told you would be good for like writing on cookies. And I took my icing bag. This is how I always do it. And that's how it is normally. I put it in a cup. And turn down the edges like that. And just open it up and it makes it easy to pour into. Oh, we have a mail delivery out there. You know what it is. I mean, it's just regular mail. I don't know. It's a mail van. All right. And so then I just tie it. And then another trick I do is so that when I'm using this and I know that, so that I know it's the thicker one, I cut the top straight across like that. So I know all the piping bags that have a straight across top are going to be thicker. Yeah, that was our doorbell. But I'm not answering the door. Yeah, they left it. They're gone. Isn't our doorbell obnoxious? But we have a different ring for the front door and the back door. That way we know what door people are at when they ring the doorbell. All right, so this was a bigger icing bag, so I got out a bigger cup so it'll hold it all a little bit better. Make sure you get all of that down in there. No icing left behind here. So another trick you can do, which, okay, so a lot of times when I mix up my icing, God, my kitchen is a mess. Don't look at it, okay? A lot of times when I mix up my icing, like the different colors and such, my husband will help me bag them, or he'll mix them, because it is a lot of work, like mixing up all those colors. It's a good workout. So untie this, and I thought my husband had just made this up and whatever, but to get the icing all to the bottom so that he could tie it better, he would do this, helicopter it. And it's actually a thing. It's not his original idea, but it was to him. But I've seen other people say that they do that. They helicopter their icing so that it gets the air up out of your icing up to the top. It gets the air up to the top, and then your icing down in the back, and they call it helicoptering. All right, well, that is it for making royal icing. I hope that you guys have really good luck with your recipe. Let me know down below if you have any questions or anything. I'll talk to you later.